make sense? The facts are going to become less available because the more
further
that
we
go
get
on
from
in
that
time.
time. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So for me personally, I think the truth is just be love.
But that's where your truth is, though. I've always said your truth is in here.
Yeah.
It's not somewhere else. It's not someone else's truth. It's your one.
Yeah.
There are things that are factual. Are we sitting on a sofa? Yeah, that's the truth. Fine, that's a fact. But you, when it comes to what you believe in, that's your truth.
Yeah.
Whatever, you could have had an experience yesterday that I have no idea about, and you tell me it, and I'm going to be like, that sounds stupid. That's nonsense. But you know you had it.
Yeah.
So you can't force it on me and say, listen, Sarah, you got to believe me. I'm going to be like, but I never experienced it, though. You experienced it. So your truth is your truth. And everyone's trying to superimpose their truths onto people, not realizing that you can't do that.
You just got to live your life.
You got to live yours, live your truth.
But I do feel like in general, that's what social media is doing right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is my opinion, and you're going to hear it, and you're going to listen to it, and you're going to pay attention.
And if you don't like it, then I'll give you an X.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
It
As opposed to let me listen to yours.
Yeah.
And maybe I can get something from
it,
and we can learn from each other maybe. How about that? And then the world's going to be a better place.
For me, it's the most arrogant and egotistical way to be. To think that because you feel something, everyone else must feel it.
Yeah.
It's like, listen, people got their own shit going on, man. Like,
be fighting, because that you are going to literally be fighting for the rest of time in that way.
Every
I think.
day.
Yeah, imagine that. Yeah,
every day you're going to be fighting. It's like what Danny says that. Nah, Danny's talking nonsense, man. You need to do what Sarah does. It's like, who are you, bruv?
I mean, they do say that quite often.
Like, who are you? Like, who are you, bruv? Like, why must we follow you all of a sudden?
Oh,
who gave you that authority?
And there should be a new. Well, okay. So then, Dan, you mentioned about the universe and obviously the energies in which that's how we deal with our daily practices, isn't it? And that's how we get down.
I mention the universe.
And I think with that, it's less forceful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you can. That's your choice if you want to go on to, I guess, a YouTube or find a podcast or find something that, like you said this morning, you woke up feeling a little bit. You went on YouTube and the one that you wanted was just right there. You listened to it, you did your thing, and you felt better.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, you didn't start. I mean, we might send things to each other and it'd be like, if you want to listen to this, it might help you, but it's not a forceful thing, is it?
Yeah.
So do you think that kind of the astrology and all the kind of energy and, you know, let's all just pray to the universe and do all that, do you think that is a less forceful way basically of
do you know what
dealing with daily strife, if you know what I mean?
I would say for me, but it is just what works for me. Like when I first started I first dived into the law of attraction, I read the book The Secret, it made sense to me. In what I was going through at a time in my life, like this must have been about 12 years ago, I was like, oh my God, so I just got to ask, believe and receive.
Okay.
Like, this sounds nice. Simple. I just got to think positive instead of like taking on someone else's energy and someone's negativity. Like, and I feel good. So I was like, right, let's try this. I done it. It made sense to me and it worked.
Right.
And it's worked ever since.
It's worked ever since. And at the time, like with people that were close to me, I'd be like, law of attraction, just got to ask, receive and believe. But I'm not imposing it on you. So I would say to people, they're like, yeah, Dan, you're crazy. But like,
if you don't ask, receive and believe, then you're going to hell.
Yeah, it's none of that. But people could say like, I see a difference in you. Like there were people that would be like, you're too positive. Huh?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Listen, it just works for me.
Keep those people from around you.
Okay.
It just works for me. I feel good. I feel good more often than I don't. Yeah, I remember someone very close to me was like, "But don't you feel that you're being fake because you're not
dealing with like
dealing
the real
with
kind
you're not
of
dealing with what's really happening?" And I'm like, "But I feel good. I feel good." Like,
yeah, but also, what's gonna happen is gonna happen, and a lot of the time is. In this life, there's gonna be hurdles. It's the way in which you climb that hurdle and get over that hurdle. Yeah. Some people see the hurdle and be like, "Oh mate, I can't do it. Oh my God, it's unfair. Oh my God." And some people are like, "Yeah, all right, cool. I'm gonna get over that. Yeah, let me climb over. It just depends on the way, because everyone's gonna get the hurdle. It just depends on the way you deal with the hurdle. Yeah. And people didn't like the way you're dealing with it. And I say this a lot of the time about like people in general, like. You need to understand your vibration Some people are not vibrating on your frequency, you know. And a lot of the time we get around people who aren't vibrating on our frequency, and we wonder why we start feeling a little bit more low. Yeah, a certain type of way. They're vibrating on a different frequency from you. And it's okay to say, you know what? You ain't my peoples, you know. I might have known you for years, but I'm going to stay from around you.
That is difficult to do.
Of course it is.
It is difficult.
And then once you do that, then they start saying, oh, you know what? She's
She
changed,
thinks
man. Who does she think she's
She
changed?
thinks she's too good now.
She thinks she's too nice.
Yeah.
Well, you know.
Do you know that I grew up on a council estate in South London.
Where did you? I was going to ask actually. Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
South
to a single
London.
mother of 5 children.
Wow.
If I stayed around that frequency, I would have been a statistic.
Statistic.
I would have been a statistic if I stayed around that energy and around the people. I grew up around some wrong-uns.
So what was your how did you manage to?
My saving grace was the performing arts.
Oh, right. Okay.
Was drama.
Okay.
And I was an angry child. I was in fights all the time.
I was going to say, what was you like before drama?
I was mad.
Really?
People that knew me when I was growing up, they were like, that guy's always fighting. He's always fighting.
Angry.
I was angry, and I was angry more so because I didn't know my dad. Because I had like abandonment issues and all this kind of stuff. And when I found, it's funny because when I found drama, it was the time that I realized I could do crazy shit and get away with it. And I never forget that I was allowed to run around and jump off the wall and the stuff that I would normally get in trouble for.
Yeah.
Right.
I was all right to do.
Interesting.
And I was like, I'm going to roll with this.
Okay.
And that was me at like 12, 13.
Yeah, because that I'm guessing might have been difficult for you to, because it's like now, I guess at that point as well, it's like, how do you, now you're different now from your peers on the council estate, if that makes sense. I'm assuming. Yeah. So that was, I guess, quite a mental thing to be able, positive mental thing to be able to do at that time at such a young age, as opposed to not just get swept up in the madness.
Yeah, I mean, what happened was, in general, what happened was when I started doing drama and going to like performing arts and doing drama classes outside of school, my circle changed.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Because I'm now vibrating on different frequencies, so I'm now attracting different frequencies
people.
towards me.
Yeah, and you're seeing different things,
And
having
I'm
different
seeing
experiences.
different things, and it's like, well, I guess this is what I'm in right now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
where
mean?
I'm supposed to be. Yeah.
And so I just kept on going different places, and I would be like, oh, I've got to go and do a play in Manchester this week.
So now you're
The
seeing
people
a
that I
whole
was
new-
growing up, I don't know about going on Manchester to do a play.
Yeah. So did they say things like that? Oh, you think you're too nice?
No, I mean, when I used to come, they used to be like, oh, you're talking different, man. Your accent, you being a little bit more posh. Do you know what I mean? Like, they used to say stuff like that, but generally it was like, it was bants, innit? It was bants.
Yeah.
But I knew that there were some real wrong-uns around there where I grew up, and I was like, I'm not trying to be around that. And so, sorry, go on.
No, I'm just thinking how difficult it is, and how, you know, we already know that we do become a product of our environment, and I think that's what's so scary for a lot of young boys growing up now. And then is that until you do have that little out, you know, little way out.
Yeah.
You know, how do you know it's there? Because if you've never seen it, all you know is what you know, isn't it? How do you know it's there? Because you've never seen it, or you've never been exposed to it, or someone's never taken your hand and gone, do you know?
But sometimes like I said, the time that, this is what I learned as a young boy to a man. When I changed my frequency, when I changed the dial on that radio, everything changed. Everything changed. I'm now around millionaire businessmen daily. And I'm like, how did that happen? And the only reason why it happened is because I changed my frequency. Because those people saw my frequency and they knew, oh, I like that guy's frequency. And like attracts like.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like the law of attraction, it starts to attract like. So it's like, if we don't learn to change our frequencies, we're always going to do what we always done.
Yeah.
It's like people that listen to like certain types of music.
Okay.
When that drill music comes on, I switch that off.
Do you?
Oh my,
Do you?
nothing but fuckery and madness.
Do you not?
I don't need that for my frequency. I'm like, that's not my frequency.
If you're not maybe in the mood that day.
Listen, I switch that off.
Right, because I listen. I do. Right, so I do listen to. I listen to all different types of music, depending on my mood that day. So like today in the car.
Yeah.
Today driving in the car, coming here. Well, dropping my car at the station. Before I got on the train, obviously, because I'm drinking. But I was like, what come on? I think, what come on? I mean, it might have been Hair or something, HER came on. And I kind of felt like, I love it and I love listening to that. But just before, when I was getting ready to come, I was listening to Summer Walker's new album, which is obviously very mellow and it's very chill. And that was the vibe I was on. But when I got in the car, I was like, do you know what? Now I want something a bit more.
Yeah.
So a little drill song came on and I let it roll. I do wind my windows up sometimes a little bit. And when I was in traffic, and I live, so when I was in traffic, I kind of wound it down a little bit, turned it down a bit, and I just kind of vibed to myself in the car, which is very interesting in itself. But I do go with my mood, so I do understand what you mean. Sometimes it can be too much, the drill stuff, and I'm like, oh, but I think because I'm not, obviously because I'm not in that lifestyle,
right.
I feel like I can listen to it and then just turn it off.
But the lyrics for me, it's the lyrics. Because I'm a lyrics person, and I hear them talking about killing another person and glamorizing, I'm like, I ain't got time to be listening, because that will go into my psyche.
Yes.
Some people it may not do.
Yeah.
But it's not going to make me want to go and kill someone, obviously.
No,
but I just don't want to hear you
it.
killing another person. I don't I don't care for that.
Yeah. I say drill, but I don't know if I do get mixed up between drill and just like the UK grime even.
Right.
All right, UK
but
grime.
I love grime.
Yeah, UK grime maybe.
I listen to grime all the time.
Oh, okay then. So drill's different.
Yeah, like drill is like, I'm gonna
I don't
stab a man, run a man down and sell 10 packs and blah blah.
All right, yeah.
I ain't got time for that.
Where does that come on? Sorry, just disclaimer, I definitely don't listen to drill. Then where do you listen to
it comes on the radio, it comes on YouTube. You see like things posted on social media, stuff like that.
Okay.
Normally they got bloody balaclavas on talking. I'm like, listen, from you got a balaclava on my guy. I ain't trying to hear you.
Yeah, no, I know there is a big thing with the drill thing, and I do think music definitely is very influential for young people who maybe aren't. As I say, I think I can listen and then switch off and crack on with my life. But I know what you mean, just the energy of it coming into
Because
you.
for me, a wise man once told me, everything is sales. Everything is sales.
What do you mean by that?
What are you selling?
Okay.
Oh, so when you're listening,
when you speak,
yes.
What are you selling?
Oh.
You two right now are selling something. You're selling your podcast to the people. Me speaking right now, I'm selling myself to the people.
Yeah.
When you speak, what are you selling?
Yeah.
If you're selling,
all of
I'm
that.
not buying that.
All of that.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm buying.
Yeah.
Everything is sales. When you, as soon as you open your mouth, everything is sales.
How would you prevent your son from being?
The thing is, for me, I'd explain to my son first of all why this thing is detrimental to him or for him. Do you know what I mean? I'm just not going to be like, because some people's like, no, turn it off.
Yeah,
that just makes people curious.
Yeah, exactly.
That just makes people curious.
Yes.
So I'd have to explain why, I would prefer him not to listen to that. I can't be even 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
So I don't know what he's listening to. But I would explain to him why I wouldn't want him to get involved in that. Because he's young, he's impressionable. Do you know what I mean?
A
lot of these young and impressionable children are growing up around that frequency. And they get into that frequency and that's all they stay in. And they look at other people outside of a frequency a certain way and not realize. One of their friends in that same group will start turning that dial and going to a different frequency. Oh, man's selling out, blood. Man's this, blah, blah, blah. You just don't want to be on that frequency.
My son's 15. My oldest is 15. And there's certain friends that he stopped hanging around with because they started smoking.
You
He's like, Mum, I'm not into that. So no. Or they're hanging and he's into basketball, so he's got his team and everything, and he's like, can't do that.
Good.
I go and do this after school. He's got his games and stuff. He's with his national team now. He's like, don't do that, Mum.
But do you think that is obviously your that's your kind of push, isn't it?
Definitely, absolutely. So earlier today I was on my friend Naya's podcast, and she was asking me about how do I keep the, affirming my children and putting positivity into them. And I was like, when they say be the change you want to see in the world, that's what they see. They 100%. See that Mum is like this, my energy is like this. I talk about energy around them a lot, especially with Caden. So my daughter's 8.
Right.
And
she is just mini you, isn't she?
She really is. And I just, it's like, I don't know what I do. I just do what I do.
And it works.
My kids are great. Yeah, they're little assholes sometimes.
Of course,
but
they're
kids.
Great
little assholes.
Of course, they're kids. It's really funny. It's really funny. Me and my sister were talking about, bonfire night, isn't it? As we said, and my sister sent a message in the group earlier and said, do you guys remember Penny for the Guy?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, right.
You're showing your age now, though.
Right. Because I said, okay, so my sister sent a message in the group just randomly and said, Mum, just want to thank you so much for not letting me and Asha do Penny for the Guy. At the time, when all my friends were doing it, and I was fuming because my mum wouldn't let me go and stand on the corner, you know, and have this makeshift thing and be like begging, basically.
That's what Mum said.
That's basically
Stop
what it
beg.
was, right? But my mum was like, "You are not doing that," and I was, "Why?" And I obviously I hated it, inverted commas at the time. But then we were like, "Yes, Mum." And my mum responded. She was like, "Guys, I wasn't being like a cow. I just didn't want other people to see you on the street doing that, and I just knew it wasn't right, you know." So it's basically that was kind of gone a little bit off track there, but yeah, I think it's important, and now we're thanking her for not letting us do that. Do you know what I mean?
Talking about children, though, did you see my post that I posted today about the abortion thing?
I was trying to watch it on the train just then, but it was cutting off. So yes, let's talk about it.
So let me preface it.
Please do.
All right. So if you've seen it, you've seen it. Right. So when you normally ask black people specifically what they think the number one killer in the black community in the Western world is, they normally go with guns, heart disease, AIDS. They normally give these normal
I thought AIDS
answers.
was weird. I thought the ones that said AIDS, I'm like, how many people do you know that've died of AIDS?
Cancer.
Okay. I went right in with the guns. That's just terrible, isn't it?
The biggest killer of black people in the Western world is abortion.
As in women who have had it.
Women who are
abortions.
killing their babies before they.
Right.
In 2016 in New York specifically, more black babies were aborted than were given birth to. And in America specifically, so I'm quite an advocate for pro-life. People have known that, and this is a controversial subject, but you know it is what it is. So in 2016, more babies were aborted than they were born, and the founder of Planned Parenthood, which is the chain of abortion clinics in America, was a woman called Margaret Sanger.
Nice.
Margaret Sanger was a eugenicist and a white supremacist. And with the eugenics movement, she was saying that more white babies need to be born and more black babies need to go. We don't need more black babies. And this is a founder of the abortion clinic. So my whole stance was, her plan's coming to fruition. Her whole plan is coming to fruition. And this is going to sound controversial. The biggest killer of black people is black women.
Wasn't ready for that.
No. Okay. I mean, that is quite a statement. But I'm thinking it's not just the woman involved in that.
My body, my choice. That is what we're living in. That's the reason why I said it like that. And it sounds controversial, but we're living in the time of my body, my choice. The woman is the one that has the sole right to kill her child. Men don't have a say in it. They don't have a say. So the woman, the black woman in our society is the one that is killing the most black people.
I do have an opinion. I just want to...
No, I'd love to hear it.
I don't... Okay, so you're saying it's the black woman, my body, my choice. What about my options? What about what I'm bringing my child into? What about, is this going to be good? Is this situation going to be good for my child? Is my child going to be looked after? Is my child going to have a home? Is this also, do we know the statistics of this? Is this, are these abortions from loving relationships? Are these children being conceived through,
what, rape or
terrible
all right,
incidents?
so the stats for I'm telling you, this is going to be
This is why
controversial,
you're
and
here
a lot
on
of people
this.
are not going to want to hear this.
I don't know. Yeah,
But
let's go.
the stats
You know when
for
someone really does their research.
yeah, like so 1 to 2% of abortions are the result of someone being raped or molested.
Right.
Let's say 98% of abortions are because people had unprotected sex. 98% of them, which basically says people don't know how to have sex.
People are not.
People aren't
doing the
protecting
right
themselves.
thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I believe
Everyone
that.
knows the equation. If you
Yeah.
ejaculate inside a woman, she's going to get pregnant.
This is not excusing anything. Sorry, Dad. I'm sorry. I just thought when you said that, though, because I thought, right, the US, and then I'm thinking contraception, medical. It's just not as easy over there, is it? I know that
You
is
can
a
walk out this
ridiculous
door right now and
excuse.
get contraception.
In
We-
the US,
They
I'm
don't
talking
have that.
about.
Because
In the
your
Western world.
It's your stats.
We
you
got the coil, injection.
In the US, though.
Yeah, coil, injection, condoms. What other forms
Is
of
it as easy
contraception
to
are
just
there?
go
Yeah,
to
of
the
course there are.
clinic?
Is it free?
I don't know
They're
if it's free in the
Well,
US.
no, they're not. I don't know if they're free.
Because remember, what you said was based and
Was
this wasn't my
on
point, but
US
it's based in
statistics.
US. So if their contraception is not free,
Condoms have
could
never
that
been free.
Be a reason.
No, actually, condoms are free at the clinic.
In the US, I don't know. I would assume condoms should be free in the US, yes. And that's not an excuse.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's
I feel
it's
we're
bad
going off
sexual.
point.
It's bad sexual choices.
But is that just the woman that we're putting that on?
The reason why I say it like that, and I know a lot of women are not gonna like it, it's your body, your choice. Because because even you got the morning after pill. You've got the pill. If someone did ejaculate in you, you still got the option to get the morning after pill, and you didn't do that. So you didn't do the coil, you didn't do condoms, you didn't do injection,
I'd like to know.
you didn't do any of that.
I'd
You didn't do the morning after pill. You got pregnant, and your thing is, I'm gonna get rid of it.
Right.
You had so many different things that could have gone on before you got to that point.
I don't disagree with anything you said. It is, and it is. I've had a conversation with my son about abortions, and I'm like, I said to him, it's actually got nothing to do with you.
And I know you've
It's
said this
not
before.
got. It's not your.
It's her, right?
It's her. She has control. However,
See, I don't actually believe that, but I'm going along with what is being told to us
Okay.
because I believe a man should have a say in it.
Oh, if
I believe a man should have a say in it.
But, okay,
He
so-
doesn't, but I believe he should.
So I scrolled to the conversation. I think using Brixton. I was looking at the background like using Brixton.
Yeah, I
talking
was
to
in
the
Brixton
two
talking
guys.
to the guy. Yeah.
And I just feel like when I was watching it, I was like, I feel like it was so easy for those men at that time
Okay.
to agree and say what they said. I can't remember everything, but I just felt like there's so many things. Like when a woman, like for the woman, for example, it's a case of the guy can say, yeah, because she's gone and she's had an abortion and she should have done this and she should have done that. But I think for that woman, if now that you're pregnant, this guy's like, I don't want nothing to do with you. I literally
Or
don't
the
want nothing to
baby.
do with you. And you're thinking, am I going to bring someone into this world
and
that
do this by myself.
do this by myself that I can't look after them? Like, and I thought we were doing this together. And now so early on, this person is actually telling me they don't want nothing to do with me.
And you've just spoke about abandonment issues with your father.
Mhm.
So imagine now we're bringing making a whole new statistic again, because not only, now we've got a child who's growing up without a father.
And I do, sorry, and before you go, because I'm ready, but I just feel like there does need to be some more education.
100%.
There needs to be a lot more education
100%.
on, especially on, the act and
Okay.
protecting themselves. And I don't know, the morning after pill, maybe it needs to be more accessible.
Okay.
But I just feel like as a woman, if at that point you're going through, what does this look like for this unborn human that I'm gonna bring into the world by myself? I don't like.
See, I think, right, like I said, my belief is that the man should have some kind of say if the child is going to be, I guess, killed in the womb of the woman. I believe that the man, see, it was a joke, but it sounds true. Dave Chappelle made a joke about it. He said, if a man has sex with a woman and she decides that she wants a baby against his will, then he should be at least allowed to leave the baby alone.
Mm-hmm.
Because when it's flipped the other side, the woman can decide whether or not she wants to kill the baby. The man has no say.
Understood.
He has no say in
it. Only Dave would come up with that.
Right, but I'm just saying.
I was like,
it's like, how come That's all right. Like, how come, like, the man he just doesn't have a say?
I don't know.
Right.
But I know. So I don't, it's like I'm watching it and I'm like, I hear what you're saying. And even as we're sitting here, I understand what you're saying. And I don't know. And it's like I said, I had this conversation with my son and I was just like,
it's nothing to do with him.
If you get a girl pregnant and she decides that she wants to have an abortion,
yeah,
or she decides that she wants to have that baby, it's her decision.
So what about if he doesn't want to have the baby? Should he be allowed to say, that's you?
I mean, he should be, but...
He should be allowed to leave her?
No, but I don't have the answers.
Right.
I don't have the answers.
Right.
And I don't, like I said, I don't disagree with your opinion at all. Like,
right.
I hear it. But my thing with him is like, you don't have a say. Watch yourself. If you are just messing around with some girl, because he's not active now, but if when you decide to be doing what you're doing, if you are messing around and throwing
he's
your
not
seed
active
around,
as far as you know.
Please don't. I don't want that. If you decide to be throwing it all around, and she gets pregnant, if you don't want that child and she still has that child, that's on you. That's still your child.
And on the flip side, if a woman gets pregnant and the guy doesn't want to be a father,
she's still going to have that child and you're still going to have to...
And how is that a fair exchange?
It's not, but...
Like how, because basically I don't have a say if you want to get rid of my child. But if you want to keep the child, I have to do everything. Like, I don't think that's a fair exchange.
It's not a fair exchange.
That's just me. I don't think it's fair because a wise man once told me.
You've got a lot of wise men.
I've got a lot of wise men around me. A wise man, and he knows who he is. When he sees this, he's going to know who he is. A wise man once told me that women are head of security for their own vaginas. I'm as a man, I'm not head of security for a woman's vagina. Women control the access to their vagina. Unless I'm a rapist and I force myself into your vagina, but generally, women control the access.
Yeah.
So if you're controlling access who comes into your home, you better be careful who comes into your home, innit?
For real.
Because if I'm just gonna let any willy-nilly person into my yard, and my things get stolen, that's on me. Why am I just letting anyone and everyone in? I should have done more due diligence. I should have been a little bit more secure. But when women, it seems that women are allowed to let anyone into their vagina and then just say, you know what, actually I'll get rid of the baby, or he's a piece of shit because he won't take care of the baby. But you let him in. Like
it kind of is like, I think, and this is where the education comes in, because it is like it's used as a form of contraception.
Like I said, but abortion ain't contraception, but it's used as contraception. It's crazy.
So what is it? What would your advice be?
My advice,
if you was in control of...
My advice would be to women, that because you're head of security for your own vagina, you need to watch who you're letting into your vagina, right? And if you're letting, and because the bottom line is, if shit goes pear, you're going to be left with a baby. A man, and I'm not advocating it, by the way, I'm not saying it's okay, by the way, a man can run. He can up and leave. You can't up and leave nothing because that's your baby. You got to carry that baby for 9 months. So you got to think about, wow, this responsibility is on me, not so much on him. It's more, and then it gets to my body, my choice, and which is why she can get rid of the baby.
But some people can change really quickly.
I mean, I know that. I know that.
But rewind to the beginning.
Do you know what I mean? I know that.
You could literally be thinking, oh my God, it's so beautiful. You get pregnant and that person changes.
Situations.
That's a situation.
Be changing. And it's a little bit, it kind of took me back then, what you said about being careful, women being careful who they allow into themselves.
Yeah.
at the beginning of the pod, we were talking about men being able to sleep with women and having no emotion. It's like, why the fuck do men get to have all this choice and just, get on with it?
What do you mean all this choice?
Men get to sleep with women and just have no emotion and just get on with it.
Well, that's the way we're built biologically.
I know, and I don't hate you guys for that. I understand that, and I maneuver accordingly around that.
Right. Okay.
Right. But I'm just speaking for people who may have got themselves. I'm speaking for
wrapped
the women
up.
that we're
in
talking
a
about.
situation.
Right. So it's okay for men to sleep with women and have no emotion and get on with it and move on. It's okay for men.
The way you describe that, it's like it's okay for men to do. Men can do it. Not all men do it.
So
I was in a relationship for 10 years. I didn't choose to go anywhere else.
You got burnt.
Yeah, I didn't choose to go elsewhere and do da-da-da-da-da.
Right.
I could have.
You were one of the few.
But I didn't do that. So men can do it. Not all men do. But I know for myself, being a man, that I could have done it and just been like, all right, cool. That was just what was done.
So I was kind of merging the two together, which maybe didn't work. But I was kind of thinking about women having abortions because of being in situations with men that didn't work, whether it didn't work because the men didn't want them or whether it didn't work because the woman was maybe
Is that an excuse to get rid of a child? Because the relation didn't work?
No, it's not an excuse, but it's what we've just said. Is this going to work? Is this going to be good for my child to bring this child into a world where the father isn't around or the dad doesn't want me? It's not a loving family, or I'm going to be struggling. I haven't got a house for the child. I haven't got any means of supporting. I haven't got my family's not, You
didn't know that before?
What if she's using contraception?
That's different. If you're using contraception and all of a sudden you're pregnant, you were relying on the contraception.
But why is that different though?
No, because what do you mean? Is it different to have an abortion?
The condom breaks. I used the condom broke, and
if
now
the condom broke, you've still got the morning after pill. You've still got a net there.
There are babies that come out holding that coil in their hand like, hey bitch, it didn't work.
Well, if that happens, then that's a fault on the side of, I guess, the manufacturer who put the coil in you. Do you know what I mean? Yes, there are nuances,
very rare.
but I'm saying these are rare instances. Do you know what I mean? Like most abortions, 98% of abortions are because of bad sexual choices.
No. I was conceived. My mum had the coil in.
There you go.
And I came, babe. I was determined. I was coming by hook or by crook. She had my sister because there's only 22 months between us. So she had my sister. She was only 18. And then got the coil put in right after Alicia, and then lo and behold, there Asher Glaze wanted to come.
Well, what can you do about that? There's nothing you can do about that.
What are you gonna do, Julie?
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And you got pregnant. Your mum got pregnant because whoever put the coil in never done a good job.
Okay.
That happens. But when it comes to abortions, most of them are not because of that. Most of them was not because I was on the coil and it didn't work. They're because people were making bad sexual choices.
So is your problem, because usually, for me, I'm thinking that women are not just willy-nilly going around having abortions. It's quite I'm going to assume that it's quite an emotional, life-changing situation to be in, where you're having to make that decision. It's not an easy decision to make that. So I feel like, where is are you kind of...
Do you know what I think? I think the society in which we live in has made it easier for women to detach themselves from their children. I think the society in which we live in has made it easier for... I saw a woman wearing a shirt at a rally one time saying, I've had 24 abortions. Oh. Right? And I looked at that woman and I was like, where's the humanity?
Well, I would have had to go up and say, what's this about? She's obviously asking for attention.
But the thing is, I feel like the society in general has detached itself from humanity. And so, we're going to get into feminism now. So I believe that the feminist movement has, to some degree, told women that they no longer need men. and they can do everything by themselves. You can do everything by yourself. You can get what you want. You are the boss of your own life. You don't need no man. And with that psychology, you start to negate what family means, because family is no longer the
Essence.
The essence. What is the essence is you being on your own. You're a boss bitch. Just you. Just whatever you want to do is what you want to do, and which now for me takes the man out of the equation. Like I said, if I get very personal, I've been part of an abortion.
Okay, sorry, yes.
But against my will, because I wanted a child. So I was told, and that's when I realized it really is my body, my choice, isn't it?
Right.
Because when it was me, I was like, no, listen to it. No, I don't want it. And I was like, but what? In my head, I was like, what happened to the essence of... No. She was like, no, because I've got to do this and I've got to do that and I've got to do this and I've got to do that. And I was like, wow, okay, well, I guess I ain't got a fucking say.
So in hindsight now...
And that is what made me realize, wow, like this society that's been built has been built for women to be allowed, I say allowed,
given the option
to just negate the whole family situation.
Do you feel that you are still, so that's the moment then that your thought process on that became quite
It switched my...
intense?
Because I never, before that, knew the trials and tribulations of abortion. Because not only did I not want the child, I had to go with her to go and get the child, to get rid of the child. And then the aftermath is on me. I'm sitting there like, well, I didn't want this. You're in pain. You got this going on with you. This was not what I wanted. This is what you wanted.
In hindsight,
you chose it, and then all of a sudden, I'm got to be the one that's gonna comfort you when I'm feeling like, yo, one of my child's just gone.
You've lost it as well.
Do you know what I mean? This is like, it's not always fair for the man, and because this whole society's been, women can do this, women that, your body, your choice. And if we're gonna go by your body, your choice, then like I said at the beginning, the biggest killer of black people is women.
You silenced Asha.
There's a couple of things that you said that I wanted to backtrack, but I couldn't interrupt you. You said about the independence of women. I've got to say, in my peer group and my friends, women that I know, girlfriends, I can't think of any that are of this notion of, I am going to be an independent woman. I want to be by myself. I want to look at that is, I don't know if that was kind of like a thing that was happening like in the 90s.
Are you on social media?
I feel like it's a new thing.
Because I mean, I'm 35, so I maybe like, but me personally, that independent woman, yeah, there's a difference though. You can be independent. You know, we spoke about this actually when I showed the clip with the girl with the independence thing. Remember, we were talking about fathers and daughters and men not wanting women who are independent. You know, I think that is a very broad phrase, isn't it? Independence, because, you know, I can be independent and being in a relationship just because I'm not solely dependent on you 24 hours a day. You know, I'm not with you because I need you. I'm with you because I want to be with you. Right. So this, do
you not think men and women need each other though?
To an extent.
Because you said need and want.
Yeah, but I don't want to need you. I don't want to need you. I want to want you. I want to want you. I don't want to need you, because then where's that going to leave me?
Do you know what's interesting? Because men and women think differently on that.
Tell me now.
Because men know that they need women. Yes. Like, men actually know that even though they might be upset with women, they don't like women,
women are good for men. Women are good for men.
They know that they need women.
Women are good for men.
I only hear women say they don't need a man.
I didn't say I didn't need a man. I said that I don't want to need a man because...
But what you want and what is real, like, do you need a man? Do you want to have children, for instance? Like,
yes.
Do you want to get married?
Yes, so in
then
that
you need
sense,
a man.
Yes,
for that.
But that's not where you. But then the feminist issue that you just spoke about, made it sound a bit negative in a way, because you were kind of like, you were like Don't waste it, baby. Don't break
Sorry,
it.
sorry.
You made it sound a little bit negative because it's like, you know, the feminist thing of women just out here saying we don't need a man, we're going to be independent. Like, there's that, and then there's I don't want to need you. I want to be able to get on with my day and not have to. If you're not around, for instance, what am I going to do?
That's like the day to day. I'm saying I'm talking about companionship.
I want companionship. Yes, I don't need it. I want it.
All right, you say you don't need it, but do you need to get married? Do you need to have a husband? Do you need to have children?
No, I don't need to have any of those things. I want to have them.
You don't think that you're actually made to have that? Like,
I
biologically,
think that's the human.
Yeah.
That's why we're all here.
That's why you got a womb. That's why you got ovaries.
Of course, that's why we're here.
Right.
On this earth is to reproduce, isn't it?
Right.
So, but I don't need to do it.
Ooh, you don't need to survive. Yeah, you don't. You're not gonna die if you don't get it.
Yeah, and I've been surviving by myself for the last 7 years as a single person.
Jeez.
Right. Hello. Hello.
Jeez.
You know, and the companion thing has been lackluster.
For 7, sorry to go into your personal life, but for 7 years, if you're single, wouldn't you say that's your choice now?
I would say that that's my past experiences and my life just taking the natural course that it's had to take. So, sorry, what was the question again?
Yeah, 7 years single, is that
that's my
out of choice? Yeah, is that out of choice now?
No, it's been out of partly through choice, but then also partly through not meeting somebody who I was like, right, this is someone that I'm not saying I've been sitting on my own every single night for 7 years.
Clearly not.
You know.
Clearly not.
But in terms of, obviously, yes, looking at the child, looking at having children, looking at getting married, looking at having, you know, moving in and all that stuff, then obviously I just haven't met the right person. For me, that has meant that that's led to that.
Can I switch something?